Have you ever considered what it truly takes to serve in one of the most powerful legislative bodies in the world? We often hear about political campaigns and policy debates, but what about the fundamental legal gates that determine who can even run for office? It is a question that delves into the very bedrock of our democratic system. When we look at how United States congressional qualifications have evolved historically, the direct answer is that the core constitutional requirements for serving in both the House of Representatives and the Senate have remained remarkably stable since the nation's founding in 1787. While the political landscape has changed dramatically, the foundational legal criteria set forth in the Constitution have not formally altered. This stability stems directly from the United States Constitution itself, specifically Article 1, Sections 2 and 3. The framers of the Constitution carefully deliberated and then codified specific qualifications, intending them to be both clear and foundational. For someone to serve in the House of Representatives, the Constitution mandates three main criteria. They must be at least 25 years old, have been a United States citizen for at least 7 years, and be an inhabitant of the state they representing at the time of their election. For a position in the Senate, the standards are slightly more elevated, reflecting the intended role of the Senate as a more deliberative and experienced body. A senator must be at least 30 years old, have been a United States citizen for at least 9 years, and also be an inhabitant of the state for which they are chosen. These age requirements were set to ensure a certain level of maturity and life experience. The citizenship requirements were put in place to guarantee allegiance to the young nation. And the residency rules were designed to foster a direct connection between the representative and their constituency, ensuring they understood local needs and interests. The framers deliberately chose to keep these qualifications relatively broad, avoiding requirements related to wealth, religion, or social standing, which were common in other nations at the time. This intentional simplicity has been a cornerstone of American representative democracy. Understanding this historical stability helps us interpret contemporary discussions about congressional eligibility. Because these foundational rules have not changed through constitutional amendment, any modern attempts to add or subtract qualifications beyond those specified in Article 1 face significant constitutional hurdles. This means that voters and political observers can always refer back to the original text to understand the legal boundaries. For example, if a state tried to impose an additional qualification, such as requiring a college degree to run for Congress, that would be deemed unconstitutional because the Constitution enumerates the only valid qualifications. This constant reference to the original text ensures a consistent and predictable framework for who can seek federal legislative office. It is fascinating to note that the framers debated many other potential qualifications but ultimately decided against them. For instance, they considered property ownership requirements, which were prevalent in many state constitutions and in Great Britain. However, they consciously rejected these, aiming for a more inclusive definition of who could serve. This decision underscores a core principle of American democracy, that public service should not be limited by economic status. A landmark Supreme Court case, Powell v. McCormick in 1969, further solidified this principle. The court ruled that neither Congress nor its individual chambers could add qualifications beyond those explicitly stated in the Constitution. This means that if someone meets the age, citizenship, and residency requirements, Congress cannot legally exclude them from taking office based on other factors. This judicial interpretation reinforced the framers' original intent to keep the bar for office accessible and defined solely by the Constitution. So, while the daily workings of Congress and the issues it addresses are constantly evolving, the fundamental legal criteria for membership have endured as a testament to the framers' vision. This unwavering commitment to the original constitutional qualifications provides a stable and predictable framework for representative government, ensuring that the foundational requirements for serving in the United States legislative branch remain as clear and consistent across generations. It underscores the enduring strength of the Constitution as the supreme law of the land, safeguarding the path to public service for those who meet its simple yet profound requirements.